Hello friends, Cheryl here with inkedpulp again. It's time for another Dephemerember project. This is December 11th. Now this is a TBT. I didn't do these, so I'm not going backwards. I'm just making new projects. So this one is leaves, an envelope, and owl. Okay. So I've got my envelopes here. I've got 3 of them. And I've got 3 of these owl cards. And what I plan to do here is glue this piece on and make this whole thing a flip out. Okay, or I might be changing my mind. I might make 2 flip outs. I might make this a flip out and this a flip out. We'll see. We'll see. And then I've got some leaves. These are actual leaves that, oh gosh, it's been over 5 years now because it was before I lived in this house and I've been here 5 years. So I dried these leaves and then I sprayed them. And I thought I would put a couple of actual leaves on these branches with these owls. Okay. And then on the inside, and that's what we're going to work on first, I'm going to, I've got peel paint, walnut stain, and rusty hinge, because those are kind of the colors that are in this. You know, this is like the rusty hinge right here. Peel paint would be the leaves, and the walnut stain would be in the... And actually, I'm not sure if I want to use vintage photo or walnut stain. This one is the oxide. I might play around a little. But anyway, we're going to do some inks on there. And then on the inside here, I've got a plan for this. So let's start. I don't have to decide right now if I'm going to have 2 flippies or 1. Right now what I need to do is I need to kind of get these going so I can let them dry. I can always put the heat gun on them, but I prefer not to. All right. All right, so let's just play here. And it doesn't matter to me if it doesn't matter how these go on. Yeah, that walnut stain, it's got like some little flecks of something in it. So I do think I want to switch over to the vintage photo. There we go. And so when that is there, and this one's here, and it lifts up, then you'll see kind of the same colors in there. And I need to get some more on here. A little bit more down here. And then the other thing I'm going to do when this is all done, I'm going to take my vintage photo and my brush, and I'm going to kind of go over to fill in all the little white spots that we had. So I think that's good. I do need to do the top and bottom of these little flaps because you're going to see those. Okay, Let's set this aside to dry. Put it on the sewing machine. And I don't want to get water on my ink pad, so I know I could mop that up with something else, but I'm going to see if I can put enough on here that I don't have to keep adding to it. Okay, whoops. I'm so sorry. I bent my head down to look at the inks and I knocked you guys out of whack. Oh, that's interesting. Look at those kind of gloppy pieces on my peeled paint. I wonder what that's from. Okay. I wonder if this would work if we... No, probably not. If I had put some matte medium down first, then I think that I could have made that run, but this envelope material is just soaking everything right up. Okay, there's that one. And then I still didn't have enough to... Let me kind of go around the edges and dry it off so that I can put more ink down. They're very similar in color, but we'll use both of those. Definitely some rusty hinge. And definitely some peeled paint. All right. All right, let's just... Oh, I forgot on the other one. I need to... do the sides of those because when we fold it down, you'll see those. You'll see those sides. All right. All right, so there's my envelopes. Let's grab a piece of paper. It's a piece of packing paper. And we'll just mop it up. There's a lot left on there. We'll have this as a mop-up paper that maybe we can use for something else later on. It'll need a few more colors, but I'm liking that. I like how where it was wrinkled, it's giving some texture on there. All right, so we'll set that over here to dry. And let me clean off the desk so I don't get any ink where I don't want it. Oh, I'm just having all kinds of trouble this morning. I cleaned everything off, and I guess it's so clean under there that it's just slipping and sliding all over. All right, so there's that. Now, I'm going to put some scrappy notepads in the middle of these. And I have measured out the size that I need my. Here's a piece. Here's a piece. I'm going to get all sorts of different colors of this. There's some with some splatters on it. Let's do 2 of those. All right. My size that I believe I need is, let's get the tearing ruler. Where did I put my little notepad? There it is. I need 3 inches wide and 5.5 tall. So on this tall, I can just cut these in half. All right. I don't know if it'll tear through this many layers, but I think it will. There we go. Yep, so there's 5.5. So across this way, we need to go 3 inches. Let me get my other ruler. It's easier to see. So I'm going to tear down that edge. Let's go 3 inches, 6 inches, and then almost nothing. Now, I didn't measure them top and bottom, so they may not tear exactly straight, but and I may not. Yeah, they probably need to come up just a little bit more. So instead of, because they're going to be right at the edge if I leave them like that. There we go. And they don't all have to be exactly the same, because that's the whole point of a scrappy notepad, is that they're not all the same. Oh, that's a cool one. All right. All right, let me cut these at the, I'm going to cut this one a little bit smaller, not quite as wide. I was going to say something, and now I just lost it. I lost it. All right. Let's make sure these are all about the same heights. Nope, that one's a little too tall. That one needs to come down. And that one's already torn down. All right. Let's take them down just a little bit, and then we'll put these notebooks together. There we go. And I may not need those other sheets. This may be plenty. Let's see. These would make great little pieces for stamping words on. So I think I'll keep those out, and maybe I'll do that today after I. So let's see, we've got one. I don't, sometimes I'll make scrappy notebooks that have all kinds of different paper in them, but I kind of stick to the same, coffee dyed paper. Let's do these. Okay, that's probably enough for a scrappy notepad. Inside of there, I don't need to use these other sheets. So we'll put them back for another time. All right, now what I'm going to do here, let's see. I want to put a piece, well, do I? I was just going to put eyelets and tie a piece of like ribbon or twine or something through that to hold it together. I was just going to put a couple of eyelets in. Well, I have to do that even if I end up putting something over the top, I still have to have them together. So I have to order some more eyelets. I know I've got more somewhere. All right. So there's the little scrappy. And let's put this, and I'm just using the large side of my, the large hole on my crocodile. And my eyelets are 3/16. So, whoops. I'm not going to worry too much about, well, that didn't work. That was the little one. I'm trying to get this and it's not working. Okay. Okay, there we go. There's the big one. And there's the big one. All right. Let's use kind of the goldish ones on this. Sometimes they just don't go all the way down. Do any of you have that problem where it's kind of rough on the back? And has anybody figured out how to, whoops, I don't want that one. Oh, that one. Has anybody figured out how to fix that? I'm going to squeeze it really good, but it's still, all right. All right, let's, oh, you know what I have? I have this little depth setter so I can get them at the same depth each time. Did you guys know that's what that is? You can push your papers all the way up to that. Oh, that's way too far. You can push your papers up to that stopping point, and it will put them at the same position each time so that your holes are straight across. There we go. And there we go. So this way they're straight across because you're pushing them in at the same depth. All right, let's do one of these. This is like a coppery, bronzy color. And this color. And the last one. And then I will have to dry my envelope pieces because they're not drying very fast, but that's all right. Let's do this color, or oh no, I guess that's what that one was. All right. There's that. And there's that. All right, so we have our little scrappy notepads. And now I need to go off and dry my envelopes so that we can start decorating them. So I'll see you guys back here in just a minute. All right, everybody, we are back. All right, these are all dry. And I'm mostly concerned with the insides because this you won't see. And I have decided not to go with 2 flaps because this will make it sturdier if I have it glued to this. If it's just this, it's cardstock, but it's not super heavy. So what I need to do now is open up and find some spots that are just too light. And I have some tea dye here, which is a brown, but it's also got that orange tinge to it. So I thought it would be a good complement to these colors. So we'll just darken up some of these. That flap there doesn't want to get dark on me. Might have to put a little washi tape over that, but that's okay. All right. There we go. This was the one I really noticed. Was down here in this corner. It really complements the rusty hinge well, because it does have that orange tint to it. Okay. And this one. That's funny that where that glue was at the top of the envelopes, the ink doesn't want to stick to that. That's okay. We can fix that. We can put a little strip of lace, or we can put some washi tape or a little piece of fabric. You could put some of those little, the page tabs that we made in, was it day 1? All right, there we go. That's good. All right, now I should have done this while I was off camera. I need to ink these guys up. And I wish I could ask you guys what you think, because I have several ways to attach these. I can sew them. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not going to finish up just this card. I'm gonna glue them to the flaps. Never mind. If I was going to make a second flap there, then I would need to figure out how to attach them, but these are really white on the edges, so. Now, I could sew around these just to make them interesting, and I might just do that. So I've got some nice brown thread in my sewing machine. I'm not really trying to put too dark a border because it's already got kind of a frame around it. I just want to get rid of the white edges. All right, I'm going to pause you guys again. I'm going to go sew around these because I think that would be pretty cool. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I went ahead and inked up these envelopes while I was offline because I knew you guys didn't want to sit through and watch me ink up. So they are all ready to go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? All right, so the next thing is to glue these down to the trying to see, and I'm not going to put it 100% right to the edge. I'm going to leave just a little bit of room so that if they're in a journal and I need room for this to open, that it can. Where's my pencil? So I'm just putting a little line down there where I want to put the glue. Look out, my great big stick. The stitching I did around these is in brown thread, so it's a little bit subtle, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be in your face. Just a second here, I'll show you. All right, so I can do it from this side. And I want to get it just kind of in the middle on that flap. In just a second here, I'll show you what I mean. There we go. And all right. So when I said in the middle, this little guy, this little card, is not quite as tall as the envelope flap. You see there's a little at the top and a little at the bottom. So when I put it on there, I just kind of wanted to make sure they were sort of evenly spaced. And then when I fold it over, I've got just a little bit of the envelope right along the edge. Okay, and then that creates our flap. So let's do the other ones. Real quick here. I like drawing the pencil line because it tells me how far out to go with the glue. I hate when I go farther than I need and then I end up with a lot of extra glue that I gotta wipe off. So this gives me just a good little overview of where I need to go. Oh, it's all gluey. Must have been partly gluey when I first started working. That doesn't seem right. It's not. It's not. I drew it on the wrong part. The big part is supposed to be where the glue goes, not the skinny part. Here we go. So I found this prompt to be pretty easy. I've been doing a massive cleanup of my craft room, and I had come across these owl images while I was working, and I put them in one of my ephemera books. And so when this came up with the owl requirement on it, I thought, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to use. I love these owls. I need to reprint them so I have more of them. Alright, there's number 2 and number 3. And again, this pencil line doesn't have to be perfect. It's just an idea of how far out to take the glue. Because if you go way over here, then you end up with sticky spots on your card, and when you close the flap, it sticks together. See, I went over just a little bit right there. So this just keeps it cleaner. Not so much mop up to do at the end. Glue mop up is no fun. Go this way. And this way. Oh. Smooch out some of those air bubbles. All right. Now, the last thing I'm going to do on this is put those leaves on because they're a little bit fragile, and I don't want to be, I mean, they'll hold up. I'm going to put some matte medium over them. They'll hold up. I just don't want to be working on the piece while, they're still so fragile. All right, so now this is going to go here. So when you open it up, so it's closed, you see a little bit of the scrappy notebook. Put it over just a little bit. And so I'm still deciding, do I just want to run it through the back with like some twine? I might do that. And so I need the holes here. I don't know that I need to put eyelets. I should have put the eyelets all the way through the back if I was going to do that, but I didn't. So I don't know. Oops, I got my little stopper way too close. Okay. All right, so we have this, and we have this. And I really should have put those eyelets all the way through, but I didn't. So I'm going to leave this like this. And let's do the next one. And I'm positioning it just so the eyelets don't go up over the top of the card and the edge is, fairly close. And this is going to be glued down, so I think that will be fine without having the eyelets all the way through. I should have thought that through better. I was thinking I might put like a little cardboard topper across the top of this. Even if I did that, I should have had the eyelets. Anyway, it is what it is, and we are where we are. So let's put... All right. I hope my fan is not too loud. I had to turn on my fan because it was way too warm in there. All right, let's figure out what we want to do. I have got a whole bunch of trims. This is one that I really, really love. No, we gotta go front if we want to tie it in the front. And pretty raggedy at the ends here. I've had this trim for a long time, and I absolutely love it. This is like the last of it that I have. I'm so sad, but I really love it. I've used it on a lot of things, and I've had it for a long time. And I don't think I'm going to put a bow here because this isn't like a frilly, lacy kind of piece. This has got the owl. There we go. There's that. A little bit of trim sticking up out of the top. I might glue those down so they're not. Go. Let's put the next one on. How about this time we use a little bit of seam binding? A smaller piece. Not quite the same color, but close enough. Close enough. And I got the backs of these somewhat painty, but that's okay because I plan to glue them down. And I can glue them on three sides and make a side pocket here. All right. And there's number 2. And number 3, what shall we use? Oh, there's brown seed. Let's put a little brown in there. Whenever I have my little leftover bits of, I have a container for my lace, so when I have bits of lace, I put them in there. I have a container for my little bits of fabric, and then this one is trims and ribbons. So for something like this, when I just need a little piece to tie this together, this is a great place to go and find what I need. All right, and there's number 3. Put that away. Some of these are too little to keep, but keep the bigger ones. All right, put this back. All right, now I've got, so this is a pocket right here, and I have got some little owl tags. 2, I've got 6 of them here. All right, so what I'm going to do is ink them up, of course. Yeah, I'll be right back because I'm going to sew around them too, so hang tight. Alrighty, friends, we've got our little tags. I've got some strings left over from when I sewed around these cards, and except for the really long ones, I don't need them that long. I'm going to leave them for now because I can always cut them off when I go to use them. And I guess that's the whole thing about this compartmental making, is that you get it to a certain point and then you can always pick it up and do more later. So, all right, so I've got these little guys, and I want to make sure that I don't put one in there that's the same as the front. Okay. All right, so these, and I could put little toppers on them. They'd have to be real little because I have to be able to fold this over. And I could back them and I could sew around them. There's so much more I could do with them. And again, I think that comes with the compartmental making, that when I go to use them, I can decide to, you know, keep on with the decorating. Now, there is one other thing I want to do. I've got some washi tape here. That's amazingly close to the colors in here. And I want to put the washi tape down this little part where the glue is for the flap, because it didn't take the ink real well, and I think it could use a little zhuzhing up. Okay, oops, get that over. Plus, I may have a little bit of my pencil line. And I'm getting this kind of dirty. I'm thinking I may just put some book page over that. But we'll see. I'm not going to do it online today. Again, this is part of the compartmental making that allows you to come back later and add to. All right, so there's that. And I got a little gunk on there. I don't know if this will take it off, because I won't want to leave that super bright white, but I may want to put a big floral sticker on there. I may want to put another image. Kind of depends. I may want to put a woodland creature on there, some foliage, whatever, depending on how I'm going to use it. Okay. So there it is. There's one. Open up, you got your little tags here. I may see if I have a little owl stamp to put on this side. And this side definitely needs something. I'm just not sure what yet. So I'm going to leave them like that because we got through a big bulk of what we were going to do today. I could put another pocket on there. I could add another little flip out. I could do just about anything I wanted to do on that. A little tiny piece right in there. And so that's number 2. And this is number 3. I could cover this with like some coffee dye paper and just leave it for writing. But we do have the pocket, or we do have the scrappy notepad, and then we have the little tags in there. So there is some writing already, but I could add some more. That little glue strip on the tab of the envelope gives a nice straight line for lining up the washi tape. So we used a little bit of everything. The only thing I didn't do, and here's something else that I could do on that inside. I could do some stenciling. I could do some stamping. I mean, you can do anything that suits your fancy, but I thought what I would do is wait, because I don't know if I'm going to put this just in a fall journal in general, if I'm going to put it in like a woodland journal, if I'm going to put it in an owl journal. I don't know for sure how I will use these, and so I want to leave them a little bit generic so that I can. All right, let's move that out of the way. Hang those up. Put that over in its case. Let me move some stuff out of the way here, and we'll take a look at what I did. All right, so here are the 3 pieces. Okay, and they are open up, scrappy notepad, and a couple little tags in the envelope flap, or the envelope pocket. Still need to do something here. I will decide on that when I go to use them. But that's that. And then this one. Okay. And then this one. So I really like those. I really like them a lot. And they're not too bulky. They have a little bit of bulk where I tied the knot, but it's not too awfully bulky. All right, folks, thanks for coming along on the ride with me. And if you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up. And I'd love to see a comment to know what you thought about these little guys. But that is, and I didn't finish. Oh my goodness. I didn't put my leaves on. Good thing I went and looked at the prompt list again and was recapping the prompt list because I didn't put my leaves on. And again, these are real leaves, ouch, that I dried, and then I sprayed them. I went to the store and got the cheapest hairspray I could find. And we'll put that guy down there. I got the cheapest hairspray I could find, and I just sprayed them and let them dry. It stunk to high heaven, that cheap hairspray. And that will dry clear. All right, so there we go. Now we have a couple of leaves on there. Where are the rest of my leaves? There's 2 more. And these things last forever. Like I said, I've had these at least 5 years because I made them before I moved into this house. And I've been here for 5 years, so I know I've had them at least that long. Probably not much more than that because we were living in an apartment before we moved into this house, and I know I made them when I was in the apartment. There's the other one. I thought about doing some die cut leaves, and I thought, well, you know, I've got all these natural leaves. I might as well use them. Might as well use them up. I've had them long enough. All right, now we're done. We've got leaves, envelope, and owl. All right, so here they are again with the leaves on the branches. Aren't those cute? There's one. And there's the other one with the actual leaves on them. All right, everybody. Once again, I'll say thanks for coming along. I appreciate your support. If you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up. Consider leaving a comment because I'd love to know what you think about these. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.